A quiet town, a forgotten veteran, one act of kindness that sparks a firestorm, betrayal, sacrifice, and a truth that shakes the community. Stay to uncover a story that'll leave you speechless. Like, subscribe, hit that bell. Stories that give you chills await. The air smells of damp leaves and gasoline in the small town of Coldwater, Ohio. It's 6 in the evening, and the sky's a bruised shade of grey. A 55-year-old man, lean with salt and pepper hair, shuffles down Main Street. His name doesn't matter yet, but his hands do. Calloused, steady, always moving. He wears a faded green army surplus jacket, the kind you'd find in a thrift store bin. His boots, scuffed but polished, slap against the cracked sidewalk. He's headed to the only diner in town, Rosie's, where he washes dishes for $8 an hour. His eyes, hazel and heavy, carry the weight of years. Years of war, loss, and starting over. But there's a spark in them, a stubborn flicker that refuses to die. He hums an old folk tune, barely audible, as he passes the shuttered hardware store. His life's simple now. Work, sleep, repeat. No family, no savings, just a rented room above the barbershop. He lost his wife to cancer a decade ago, his son to a fight he can't quite recall. Yet every morning he greets the world with a nod, like he's still got a mission. "Evening, Rosie," he says, stepping into the diner. The bell above the door jingles, and the smell of frying bacon hits him. Rosie, 62 with a perm and a smoker's rasp, tosses him an apron. "Late again, soldier," she teases, but her smile's warm. He ties the apron over his worn jeans and gets to work. The sink's piled high with greasy plates, and the radio crackles with a country song. He scrubs, steady as a metronome, while the world spins on without him. Customers come and go. Truckers, retirees, a few teens sneaking beers. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's kind. "Careful, that coffee's hot," he warns a kid, his voice low but firm. The kid nods, unaware he's just been spared a burn. This man's life is quiet, but not empty. He carries a small notebook in his pocket, filled with sketches of birds. It's his secret, a way to hold on to beauty in a world that's often grey. He's no saint, but he's got a rule. Help where you can, no questions asked. It's what kept him alive in the deserts of Iraq, and it's what keeps him going now. Tonight, though, something's different. The diner's slow, and the rain's picking up outside. He glances out the window, catching his reflection in the glass. A tired man, but not a broken one. He doesn't know it yet, but his world's about to turn upside down. The rain's hammering now, turning the street into a river of mud. He's scrubbing a skillet when the bell jingles, sharp and sudden. A stranger steps in, an old man, maybe 75, soaked to the bone. His coat's a tattered brown thing, military issue with a faint patch on the sleeve. His face is weathered, like leather left in the sun too long. Grey stubble clings to his jaw, and his eyes, blue piercing, scan the room. He doesn't sit, just stands by the door, dripping onto the linoleum. Rosie frowns, ready to shoo him out. "I'm paying customers only," she mutters. But the old man doesn't budge. Our hero pauses, sponge in hand, and watches. There's something about the stranger, his posture, rigid despite the cold. It's pride, the kind you earn through fire. He's seen it before, in the eyes of men who've carried more than their share. Without a word, he dries his hands and grabs a to-go cup from the counter. The coffee machine hisses as he fills it, steam curling in the air. He adds a lid, grabs a day-old muffin from the basket, and walks over. "Here," he says, voice soft but clear. "On the house." The old man's eyes flick up, sharp, almost suspicious. For a moment, it's a standoff, two souls sizing each other up. Then the stranger takes the cup, his hands trembling slightly. "Thanks," he rasps, voice like gravel. He doesn't smile, but there's a nod, small and deliberate. Our hero nods back, then returns to his dishes. Rosie glares, but he ignores her. It's not about her, or the diner, or the rules. It's about doing what's right, even when it's small. The old man lingers a moment, sipping the coffee, then slips back into the rain. The bell jingles again, and he's gone. Our hero doesn't think much of it. Just another night, another small gesture. But that coffee, that muffin, they're the spark that'll set everything in motion. The next evening, he's back at the sink, the rhythm of scrubbing plates a kind of meditation. The diner's busier tonight, filled with the hum of conversation and the clink of silverware. He's halfway through a stack when he notices the old man again. Same coat, same rigid posture, but he's drier now, standing just outside the door. He's not begging, not even looking inside, just watching the street, like he's waiting for something. Our hero dries his hands, glances at Rosie, she's busy with a customer, and steps outside. The air's crisp, smelling of wet asphalt and pine. "Hey," he says, keeping his distance. "You okay out here?" The old man turns, his blue eyes catching the neon glow of the diner's sign. "Fine," he says, but his voice is tight like he's holding something back. There's a moment of silence, just the patter of rain on the awning. Our hero notices a pin on the man's coat. A small, tarnished thing, shaped like a star. It's a bronze star, he realizes, the kind given for valor. He doesn't ask about it. Some stories you don't pry into. Instead, he pulls a pack of crackers from his pocket, his own lunch, untouched. "Got these if you're hungry," he offers, holding them out. The old man hesitates, then takes them with a grunt. "You don't owe me nothing," he says, but he tucks the crackers into his coat. Our hero shrugs. "Didn't say I did." They stand there a moment, two strangers bound by something unspoken. The old man's fingers brush the pin on his coat, a reflex, like he's checking it's still there. Our hero catches it but doesn't comment. He knows the weight of metals, how they can anchor you and haunt you all at once. "Stay warm," he says, heading back inside. The old man doesn't reply, but his eyes follow him, sharp and searching. Back at the sink, our hero feels a quiet warmth. Not pride, not satisfaction, just the sense that he did what he could. He doesn't know it yet, but that moment was a bridge, one that'll carry him somewhere new. The diner's fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting a sterile glow on the checkered floor. It's the third night in a row, and the 75-year-old veteran's back, standing just outside the door. His tattered brown coat's a little cleaner now, the bronze star pin glinting faintly under the awning's shadow. The 55-year-old man with salt and pepper hair notices him while scraping grease off a grill. The air's thick with the smell of onions and coffee grounds. He's been slipping the old man small things, crackers, a half sandwich, whatever's about to be tossed. Not because he wants praise, but because it's what you do. You see a man shivering, you act. Simple as that. Tonight, he wraps a slice of apple pie in foil, the crust still warm from the oven. Rosie's at the register, counting tips, her eyes narrowed like she's onto him. He doesn't care. He steps outside, the cold biting his knuckles. The veteran's there, hands in pockets, staring at the moon through the drizzle. "Pie's good tonight," our hero says, holding out the foil packet. The old man's blue eyes flicker. Not with gratitude, but with something deeper. Recognition, maybe. "Used to bake with my daughter," he mutters, voice rough like sandpaper. It's the first personal thing he's said. Our hero nods, not pushing. He knows better than to dig into a man's past uninvited. The veteran takes the pie, his fingers brushing the foil with care, like it's more than just food. They stand in silence, the rain a soft drumbeat on the awning. A truck rumbles by, its headlights slicing through the dark. "You don't have to keep this up," the old man says suddenly. "Ain't your burden." Our hero shrugs, his green army jacket damp at the shoulders. "Burden's only heavy if you think it is." The veteran's lips twitch, not a smile, but close. He tucks the pie inside his coat next to that bronze star pin. Our hero heads back to the diner, the bell jingling behind him. He feels the veteran's eyes on his back, steady and weighing. It's not about the pie or the coffee. It's about trust, built one small act at a time. He doesn't know the old man's story, not yet, but he knows the shape of it. Loss, pride, a fight to keep going. He's lived it himself in the years after the war, when the world didn't care. Back at the sink, he scrubs plates, the water scalding his hands. The radio plays an old Johnny Cash tune, and he hums along, low and steady. He's not looking for thanks. He's just doing what feels right. The next morning, cold water's buzzing, and not in a good way. The man's walking to the diner for his shift, his boots crunching on frost-covered gravel. The air smells of wood smoke and winter coming fast. He passes the post office, where a cluster of locals, grey-haired retirees mostly, huddle by the bulletin board. They're whispering, heads close, eyes darting toward him. He catches fragments, giving handouts, encouraging drifters. His stomach tightens, but he keeps walking, head high. At the diner, Rosie's waiting, arms crossed, her perm looking extra stiff today. "You're causing a stir," she says, voice sharp. "Folks saw you feeding that guy again." He ties his apron, hazel eyes steady. "Didn't steal nothing. Food was mine," Rosie snorts, wiping the counter with a rag. "Don't matter. People talk. Say you're drawing trouble to town." He doesn't argue. Arguing's like wrestling a pig in mud, you just get dirty. But the whispers follow him all day. A regular Tom, a 60-year-old mechanic with a beer gut, leans over his coffee. Gotta be careful, buddy. That old guy could be anybody. Con man, maybe. Our hero just nods, refilling Tom's mug. Could be, he says, but he doesn't believe it. Across the room, a retired teacher, Mrs. Ellis, 70, with a sweater that smells of mothballs, gives him a kind smile. I think it's sweet what you're doing, she says softly. But her voice is drowned out by a trucker at the counter. Charity starts at home, not with some bum, he barks, loud enough for the whole diner to hear. The man keeps working, scrubbing plates, pouring coffee, his hands never slowing. But he feels the eyes on him, judging, weighing. By noon, a flyer's up at the grocery store. Keep cold water clean, no loitering. It's got a blurry photo of the veteran, snapped from someone's phone. Our hero sees it on his break, standing in the chilly aisle with a loaf of bread in hand. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't rip it down. He buys the bread and heads back to work. That evening, a kid, maybe 16, acne-scarred, stops him outside the diner. Saw you with that old guy, the kid says, nervous. My grandpa says you're a fool, but I think it's cool. Our hero manages a half smile. Thanks, kid. But the support's rare. Most of Coldwater's decided he's stirring trouble, inviting chaos. He doesn't let it show, but it stings. He's one of them, lived here 20 years, paid his taxes, fought their wars. And now? Now he's the guy who's too soft, too reckless. He pulls his jacket tighter and keeps walking. The pressure builds the next night, and it's not just whispers anymore. He's wiping down tables when Rosie calls him to the back. Her office smells of stale cigarettes and bleach. Boss called, she says, not meeting his eyes. Says we can't have you giving out food. Bad for business. He leans against the doorframe, apron stained with ketchup. Told you it's my food. I'm not stealing. Rosie sighs, rubbing her temples. Don't matter. Customers are complaining. They want rules followed. He feels the air shift, like a storm's rolling in. Rules, he repeats, voice flat. Like turning away a man who's hungry? Rosie's face hardens. Don't get righteous with me. I got bills, same as you. He could walk away, keep his head down, save his job. It'd be easy. Safe, but easy's never been his way. Man's not hurting anyone, he says, slow and deliberate. Fought for this country, same as me. Deserves better than being shooed like a dog. Rosie's eyes narrow, but there's a flicker of guilt in them. You're on thin ice, she warns. One more stunt and you're out. He nods, not trusting himself to speak. Back at the counter, he pours coffee for a couple of regulars, his hands steady but his chest tight. He's sacrificed before, sleep, safety, years of his life in the army. But this feels different. This is his home, his routine, the one thing he's carved out for himself. And now it's at risk, all because he saw a man who needed help. That night, the veteran's there again, under the awning, his coat damp but his posture unbroken. Our hero doesn't hesitate. He grabs a turkey sandwich, his own dinner, bought with his own cash, and steps outside. Eat, he says, handing it over. The old man takes it, his blue eyes searching. You're gonna catch hell for this, he says, voice low. Our hero shrugs, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Caught worse. The veteran nods, like he understands. And maybe he does. They don't talk more, but the silence is enough. Our hero heads back inside, ignoring Rosie's glare. He's made his choice, and he'll live with it. The storm breaks the next day, and it's uglier than he expected. He's walking to the diner, the air sharp with the bite of early frost. His green jacket's zipped to his chin, his breath fogging in the cold. The town's awake, and it's angry. A group of locals, led by Tom, the mechanic, stands outside the hardware store, passing around a petition. No handouts, no vagrants, Tom's saying, his voice carrying. Saw that guy again last night. This has to stop. Our hero keeps his head down, but Tom spots him. Hey, he calls, waving the petition like a flag. You're the one causing this. Feeding strays, making us look soft. The words hit like a punch, but our hero doesn't flinch. Man's not a stray, he says, voice calm but firm. He's a veteran, deserves respect. Tom scoffs, his face red. Respect? Tell that to the businesses losing customers. A few in the crowd nod, muttering agreement. Others look away, uncomfortable but silent. Mrs. Ellis, the retired teacher, steps forward, her voice shaky. I think he's doing good, she says. But Tom cuts her off. Good don't pay the bills, lady. Our hero feels the weight of their stares, heavy as a rucksack in the desert. He could explain. Tell them about the bronze star, the pride in the old man's eyes. But they wouldn't listen. They've made up their minds. At the diner, it's worse. Rosie's on the phone when he walks in, her voice low and tense. She hangs up, face pale. Boss saw the petition, she says. Says you're bad for the image. Once you're gone if you don't stop. He ties his apron slow, deliberate. And if I don't? Rosie's eyes soften, just for a second. Then you're out, and I can't save you. He nods, the words sinking in like stones. He's been betrayed before, by the VA, by promises of support after the war. But this is his town, his people. And they're turning on him. He works his shift, pouring coffee, scrubbing plates, ignoring the whispers. But inside, there's a crack forming, doubt sharp and cold. Did he misjudge? Is he fighting a losing battle? That night, he sees the veteran outside. Same spot, same rigid stance. He wants to bring him something, but Rosie's watching, hawk-like. Instead, he steps outside, empty-handed. You got a name? He asks, voice low. The old man's eyes flicker. John, he says after a pause. Our hero nods. Good to know. He heads back inside, the crack in his heart a little wider. The diner's clock ticks past midnight, and the air's heavy with the scent of burnt coffee. The 55-year-old man with salt and pepper hair wipes down the last table, his green army jacket slung over a chair. His hazel eyes are bloodshot, not from tears but from exhaustion. The fight's wearing him down. Rosie's warnings, the town's whispers, the petition with his name scrawled in angry ink. He's been here before, pushed to the edge, in deserts where hope was a mirage. But this feels worse because it's home. He glances outside, expecting to see John, the 75-year-old veteran, under the awning. Same tattered brown coat, same bronze star pin, same unyielding pride. But the spot's empty. The rain's stopped, leaving only puddles that reflect the diner's neon glow. He steps outside, the cold air sharp against his skin. John? He calls, voice low, like he's afraid to break the silence. Nothing. Just the hum of a distant streetlight and the rustle of leaves skittering across the pavement. His chest tightens, a mix of worry and something deeper. Loss, maybe. He's no stranger to people disappearing. His squad mates in Iraq, gone in a flash of fire. His wife, fading in a hospital bed. His son, walking away after words neither could take back. But John was different. A quiet connection, built on coffee and pie, on shared silences that said more than words. He walks to the edge of the awning, scanning the dark street. The air smells of wet asphalt and regret. His hands clench, then unclench, the calluses rough against his palms. Did John leave because of the petition? The glares? The flyer calling him a vagrant? Or was it something else? Something our hero missed? He heads back inside, the bell jangling like a warning. Rosie's at the counter, counting the till, her eyes flicking up. Trouble's gone, huh? She says, not unkindly. He doesn't answer, just grabs his jacket and clocks out. The walk home is long, the town too quiet. His room above the barber shop feels smaller tonight, the single bulb casting harsh shadows on the peeling wallpaper. He sits on the bed, boots still on, and pulls out his notebook. The bird sketches, sparrows, hawks, a lone eagle, stare back at him. He grips the pencil, but his hand won't move. For the first time in years, the page stays blank. He's not crying, but his throat's tight, his breath uneven. Damn it, he mutters, voice breaking. He's not sure who he's cursing. The town, himself, or the world. All he knows is he's tired. Tired of fighting for what's right when it costs so much. Tired of being the one who cares when no one else does. He lies back, staring at the cracked ceiling, and wonders if he's been a fool all along. The next morning, John's still gone. Our hero checks the awning before his shift. Then the alley behind the diner, even the bench by the post office. No trace. Not a crumb of pie, not a footprint in the mud. It's like the veteran was a ghost, here one day, vanished the next. The absence gnaws at him, sharper than the cold wind cutting through his jacket. He works his shift in silence, scrubbing plates until his knuckles bleed. The diner's busy, but the noise feels distant, like he's underwater. He keeps replaying that last conversation. Good to know, he'd said when John gave his name. Was there a hint in John's eyes? A warning he missed? Did he push too hard, assume too much? The doubt's a weight, heavier than any rucksack he carried in the army. He's pouring coffee when a customer, a 60-year-old woman with a perm and a cross necklace, leans in. Heard your friend left town, she says, voice dripping with pity. Good riddance. We don't need his kind here. He sets the pot down, harder than he means to. His kind? He asks, voice low but sharp. She blinks, startled. You know, drifters, troublemakers. He wants to snap, to tell her about the bronze star, the pride in John's stance. But he doesn't. He just nods and walks away, his jaw tight. That evening, he finds a note slipped under the diner's door. Scrawled in shaky handwriting. Stop looking, I'm fine. Jay. It's something but not enough. He tucks it into his pocket, next to his bird notebook, and feels the crack in his heart widen. John's gone, and with him, the quiet bond that kept our hero grounded. He's alone again, and the town's watching, waiting for him to break. He won't give them the satisfaction, but God, it's hard. He closes his eyes, just for a second, and sees John's face, those piercing blue eyes, that flicker of trust. It's enough to keep him moving, but barely. He steps outside, the air cold and unforgiving, and lights a cigarette he hasn't touched in years. The smoke curls upward, disappearing into the dark. Just like John. The town's venom spills over by the end of the week. Coldwater's small and gossip spreads like wildfire. The petition's grown, now with 50 signatures pinned to every bulletin board in town. Someone's posted a grainy photo of our hero handing John a sandwich, captioned, "Feeding trouble. Is this who we want in Coldwater?" It's on the community Facebook page, racking up likes and angry emojis. Comments pile up. He's enabling vagrants. Fire him already. A few defend him. He's just being kind. But they're buried under the hate. At the diner, Rosie's done playing nice. She pulls him aside mid-shift, her face pinched. "Boss saw the post," she says. "You're out. Effective now. Pack your things." He stares at her, the words slow to sink in. "For what?" he asks, voice steady but hollow. "For breaking policy," she snaps. "For making us look like a soup kitchen." He could argue. Point out he used his own money, his own food. But he sees it in her eyes. She's scared, buckling under pressure. The town's turned, and she's saving herself. He unties his apron, folds it neatly, and sets it on the counter. "Keep your job," he says, not bitter, just done. He grabs his jacket and walks out, the bell jangling one last time. The street's empty, the air thick with the smell of coming snow. He passes the grocery store, where a group of locals, Tom included, stand by the flyer. They go quiet as he approaches, their eyes cold. Tom steps forward, petition in hand. "You happy now?" he sneers. "Town's a mess because of you." Our hero stops, his hazel eyes locking onto Tom's. "Town's a mess because you forgot what it means to care," he says, voice low and cutting. Tom flinches, but the crowd murmurs agreement with him, not our hero. He keeps walking, his boots heavy on the pavement. At the barbershop, his landlord's waiting. A wiry man with a comb over. "Rent's late," he says, not meeting his eyes. "Folks are talking. Don't want trouble here." Our hero nods, the betrayal stinging like a fresh wound. "I'll pay by Friday," he says, knowing he can't. Upstairs, he sits on his bed, the room colder than ever. He pulls out John's note, reads it again. "Stop looking. I'm fine. Jay." He wants to believe it, but the doubt's louder now. Was it all for nothing? The coffee, the pie, the sandwich? He's lost his job, his place in town, maybe his home. And for what? A man who's gone, a town that hates him? He slams his fist into the mattress, the springs creaking. "Why?" he mutters, voice raw. The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Morning brings no relief. Just a grey sky and a colder room. Our hero's up early, coffee bitter in his mug. He's got no shift to go to, no routine to anchor him. The town's moved on, but the scars remain. He pulls on his green jacket, the fabric worn but familiar, and heads to the diner anyway. Not to beg for his job, but to feel something normal. The bell jangles, and Rosie looks up startled. "You can't be here," she says, but her voice wavers. "Just coffee," he says, sliding onto a stool. She pours it, avoiding his eyes. The diner's quiet, a few regulars nursing their breakfasts. Mrs. Ellis, the retired teacher, slides into the stool next to him. "I'm sorry," she says softly. "You didn't deserve this." He sips his coffee, the warmth doing little to thaw the chill inside. "Appreciate it," he says, but his voice is flat. She hesitates, then pulls a small envelope from her purse. "Found this in my mailbox," she says. "Has your name on it." He takes it, frowning. The envelope's plain, no address, just his name in that same shaky handwriting. He opens it, careful, like it might break. Inside, a single dog tag, rusted but legible. John T. Harper, USMC. No note, no explanation. Just the tag, heavy in his palm. He closes his hand around it, the metal cold against his skin. His mind flashes to Iraq, to the tags he carried for fallen friends. Promises made, promises kept. John didn't just leave, he left something behind. A piece of himself, a trust. Our hero's eyes sting, but he blinks it away. He thinks of his wife, her last words. "Keep going, no matter what." He thinks of his son, the fight they never resolved. And he thinks of John, that proud stance, that bronze star pinned to a worn coat. He slips the tag into his pocket next to his bird notebook. The crack in his heart doesn't close, but it stops growing. He's not done fighting, not yet. He stands, leaves $1 for the coffee, and walks out. The air's cold, but he feels a spark, small, stubborn, alive. Whatever John was running from, whatever he left behind, it matters. And our hero's not letting it go. The skies are pale blue over Coldwater. The kind of morning that promises frost, but delivers hope. The 55-year-old man with salt and pepper hair walks Main Street, his green army jacket zipped against the chill. The dog tag in his pocket, John T. Harper, USMC, clinks softly against his bird notebook. He's jobless, days from eviction, but his hazel eyes are clear, focused. He's headed to the library, the only place with free internet. He needs answers. Who was John? Why the tag? The library smells of old books and lemon polish, its fluorescent lights buzzing faintly. He sits at a computer, the keyboard sticky under his calloused fingers. He types John T. Harper, USMC, Bronze Star, into the search bar, heart pounding. The screen loads slowly, each second stretching like a lifetime. Then a grainy photo. A younger John, square-jawed, in dress blues. A Marine, Vietnamer. Articles follow. Heroics in Hue, 1968, where he saved a squad under fire. A Bronze Star for valor. A Purple Heart for wounds. But the trail goes cold after 1975. No family, no address, just a man who slipped through the cracks. Our hero leans back, the chair creaking. John wasn't just a veteran, he was a hero, forgotten by the country he served. The tag feels heavier now, a debt unpaid. He's about to close the browser when a shadow falls across the screen. A woman, 60, with grey curls and a sharp gaze, stands there. "You're the diner guy," she says, voice low but firm. "Saw you with John Harper." He stiffens, ready for another lecture. Instead, she slides a business card across the table. "Colonel Diane Reese, USMC, retired," it reads. "My brother served with John," she says. "Saw the Facebook mess, came to find you." His throat tightens. "Find me? Why?" She sits, her eyes softening. "John's been off the grid for years. PTSD, bad luck, pride. He didn't trust many, but he trusted you." She pulls a folded letter from her purse, the paper worn but neat. "Found this in his things. He left it with a friend before he moved on." Our hero takes it, hands steady but heart racing. The letter's short, in John's shaky scrawl. "To the man at Rosie's. You saw me when no one else did. Keep the tag. It's yours now. Semper Fi." He reads it twice, the words blurring. John didn't just leave. He chose to pass something on. A legacy, a trust. Colonel Reese watches him, her voice gentle. "You gave him dignity. That's no small thing." He nods, unable to speak. The tag in his pocket isn't a burden anymore. It's a badge, a reminder. Kindness matters, even when it's unseen. The next day, Coldwater's streets are chaos. A black SUV rolls into town, followed by a Marine Corps van, flags snapping in the breeze. Our hero's at the diner, not working, just sipping coffee, when the bell jangles. Colonel Reese steps in, flanked by 2 Marines in dress blues. The diner goes silent, forks frozen mid-bite. Rosie's at the counter, her perm trembling. "Rosie Callahan?" Reese asks, voice like steel. Rosie nods, pale. "You fired a man for helping a Marine hero. Care to explain?" Rosie stammers, eyes darting to our hero. "Policy, business." Reese cuts her off. "John Harper was a Bronze Star recipient. Your policy dishonored him. And this man," she points to our hero, "honored what you forgot." The crowd murmurs, phones already recording. Tom, the mechanic, slinks toward the door, but a Marine blocks his way. "Stay," Reese says cold. She turns to our hero, saluting crisply. "On behalf of the USMC, thank you. Your actions reminded us what service means." She hands him a folder. Inside, a certificate, Civilian Valor Award, and a check. Enough to cover rent, maybe more. The diner erupts in applause, hesitant at first, then loud. Mrs. Ellis, the retired teacher, wipes tears. Even the kid from last week, the acne-scarred teen, claps, grinning. Our hero stands, jacket worn, but shoulders straight. "I didn't do it for this," he says, voice low. Reese smiles. "That's why it's yours." Outside, news vans arrive, cameras flashing. Rosie's face is red, her voice a squeak as she tries to spin the story. "Misunderstanding," she mumbles to a reporter, but no one's buying it. Tom's petition is gone, torn down by neighbors who now avoid his eyes. Our hero steps outside, the dog tag warm in his pocket. He sees John's face in his mind, those blue eyes, that nod. He doesn't need the crowd, the award, the check. But he takes them because they mean John's story lives on. He looks at the sky clear now and feels a weight lift. Kindness wasn't a mistake. It was a victory. Weeks later, Coldwater's different. The diner's got a new sign. Veterans welcome. Free coffee always. Rosie's still there, quieter now, her perm less smug. A local group starts a food bank inspired by our hero's stand. They call it Harper's Hope, after John. Mrs. Ellis runs it, her sweater's still smelling of mothballs but her smile brighter. The petition's a bad memory, replaced by flyers for a Veterans Day event. Our hero's back at work, not at the diner, but at the library, teaching vets to use computers. It's not much, but it's enough. He's got his room, his sketches, his purpose. The town's not perfect, but it's learning. People nod to him now, some with respect, others with guilt. Tom avoids him, his truck parked far from Main Street. The kid, the one who called him cool, stops by sometimes, asking about the army. Our hero tells him stories, not the bloody ones, but the ones about brotherhood, about coming home. The community's shifting, one small act at a time. A diner regular donates blankets to the food bank. A teen paints a mural by the post office. A Marine in dress blues, no name, just honor. Our hero sees it and smiles, his first real smile in months. He doesn't talk about John, but he carries him. In the tag, in the sketches, in the way he greets each day. Coldwater's waking up, remembering what it means to see each other. And it started with a cup of coffee, a slice of pie, a man who refused to look away. The legacy grows, quiet but strong. Our hero's no celebrity. He turns down interviews, waves off the local paper. It's not about me, he tells Mrs. Ellis when she tries to nominate him for a town award. It's about him. He means John, but also every vet, every person the world's forgotten. He volunteers at Harper's Hope twice a week, sorting donations, pouring coffee. The vets who come through don't know his story, but they feel his respect. A young woman with a prosthetic leg notices his sketches. "Draw me a hawk," she says, half joking. He does, and she tucks it into her wallet, eyes shining. He's found his place, not in glory, but in purpose. His son calls one evening, voice hesitant. "Saw you on the news," he says. "Didn't know you were like that." They talk, not long, but it's a start. Our hero hangs up, the crack in his heart a little smaller. He still walks Main Street, boots scuffing the same cracked sidewalk. But now he's not alone. The town sees him, really sees him. And he sees them, flaws and all, but with hope. Kindness, he's learned, isn't just a gesture. It's a spark, a chain, a way to rebuild what's broken. John's tag stays in his pocket, a reminder, do what's right, no matter the cost. And somewhere, he knows John's nodding, that proud stance unbroken. The sun sets over Coldwater, painting the sky orange and pink. Our hero stands outside the diner, not inside, just watching the neon sign flicker to life. His green jacket's faded, but it fits him like armor. In his hand, his notebook open to a new sketch, a sparrow, wings spread, soaring. It's for John, for himself, for everyone who's ever felt invisible. The air smells of damp leaves and promise. He tucks the notebook away, the dog tag clinking softly. A kid rides by on a bike waving. He waves back, a small gesture, but it matters. Kindness always does. It's the quiet heroism that changes the world.